Lin Yor and I were recognized by everyone as the best commoner duo. Relying on our trash-tier FG grade talent, we cleared the trial of the broken-hearted god, a trial that terrified even those with top-tier talent.
Because of this, the god of love bestowed a blessing at the very first stage, allowing one of us to undergo a second awakening. Hearing this, I didn't hesitate for a second. I immediately pointed my finger at Lin Yuran. But to my surprise, Lin Yuran pointed at himself. A holy light instantly rained down on him, and in a flash, his FG grade talent shattered through to an astonishing SG grade. But what he didn't know was that I found another blessing from the god of love hidden behind the stone tablet, which was also the final trial. If our hearts were truly connected and we pointed at each other, we both would have been granted SSSG grade talent. I thought our duo would become unstoppable after Lin Yuran's breakthrough. I never expected that once he awakened his SSG grade talent, he would look down on me and think I was beneath him. He immediately hooked up with a high-level SSG grade hunter from an elite family, and even got the academy instructors to pressure me into breaking our contract. Left with no choice, I had to actively terminate our contract, paying the price of losing all my abilities and half of my lifespan. But what Lin Yuran didn't know was that during the trial of the broken-hearted god, I had found a twin contract stone. It not only allowed me to contract 2 female companion spirits at once, but it could also grant them the power to grow and evolve. Right now, on the awakening platform of the Modu Spiritual Weapon Academy, a pair of stunningly beautiful twin girls stood hand in hand in front of the testing crystal. The only difference between them was that the older sister, Su Qingye, had silver hair and black tie-highs, looking elegant and cold, while the younger sister, Su Rushu, had black hair and white tie-highs, looking gentle and sweet. Just then, the instructor loudly announced the results. Su Rushe, awakened talent, armored spiritual weapon, a tattered cloak. Su Tingyu, awakened talent, armored spiritual weapon, fire poker. Instantly, the entire plaza erupted in mocking laughter. Countless people gloated at their misfortune. Seeing this, a smirk crept onto my face. My targets had finally appeared. As the awakening ceremony came to an end, it was time to form contracts. The instructors began to explain the different contract relations between hunters and their spiritual weapons. There are 3 types of contracts. First, the temporary contract. Second, the oath contract. And third, the eternal contract. Under a temporary contract, the hunter can unleash 50 to 60% of their power. It can be dissolved at any time. However, once dissolved, you cannot form another contract for 10 days. Next is the oath contract. Under this, the hunter can unleash 50 to 80% of their power, but the party who actively terminates it must surrender all of their abilities and half of their lifespan. Finally, the eternal contract. Under this contract, the hunter can unleash 50 to 100% of their power, and the lives of both parties will be eternally bound together. If either party dies, the other's life will also fade away instantly. As the academy instructor finished speaking, Su Qingyu and Su Valkshu were instantly surrounded by a crowd of hunters. Qingju, I'm an Earth grade hunter, and I don't look down on your weapon. We can form a temporary contract. Usho, I'm a C-class hunter. As long as you form a temporary contract with me, I'll make sure you shine and carry you to the top. But on one condition. You have to be my girlfriend.
属群秀呢苏挂秀，你有一嫁过，我的屁股无二包。
They figured since it was just a temporary contract anyway, where they wouldn't have to pay any price, they could basically get a free ride. Get lost. My sister and I only accept oath contracts. Su Qingyu swept a cold glare across the crowd. The moment she said that, the demon hunters who had been scrambling over each other instantly scattered.
Just then, a few girls strutted up to Su Qingye and Su Ruosi, accompanied by their newly contracted demon hunters.
Their voices dripped with sarcasm. What's the difference between armored spirit weapons and trash from a landfill? They're both just toys to be discarded after people are done playing with them.
速鲁朽必扯铃。
Her small hands trembling as she tightly clutched her skirt. But suddenly a sharp, crisp sound rang out, and a raw 5-finger mark immediately appeared on the face of the girl who had just insulted them. Keep your filthy mouth shut. Su Qingyu was not about to tolerate her, landing a vicious slap right on the other girl's face.
So no.
How dare you slap me? Your Su family is nothing but a third-rate minor clan in Modu. Do you even know who my father is? Clutching her burning cheek, the girl instantly flew into a humiliated rage, slinging her hand back to slap Su Qingyu in return. In an instant, her mid-air arm was caught in a firm, powerful grip, leaving her completely unable to move. What? You're this old, and you still don't know who your father is? Has your mother been too embarrassed to tell you? A tall figure had appeared beside Su Qingye and Su Rusha, without anyone noticing. Yi Chen, you're just a dumped loser. I suggest you stay out of this. The girl glared viciously at me. I wasn't lying, but I just gave her a cold, sharp look, letting her interpret it herself. Even though I had lost all my spiritual energy,
plummeting from gold tier 3 to bronze tier 1,
making me no different from these newly awakened students. Based on my combat experience alone, even without a contracted spirit weapon, dealing with a bunch of freshmen was still child's play. What's going on here? Fighting is strictly prohibited during the contract session. A mentor wearing a demon hunter robe quickly rushed over.
Nothing, mentor. We're just playing around.
Knowing she was in the wrong, the girl waved her hand to signal the instructor that there was no need to come over and check.
Playing along, I let go of her hand.
撒谎，苏清月。
Just you two wait. I'll make sure you get a taste of what's coming to you. Leaving behind one last threat, the girl stormed off.
I turned to Sukin Yu and Suroshi and playfully joked.
Wow, freshmen these days are so polite.
We barely even know each other, yet she's already offering to feed me fruit.
Ruosho couldn't help but burst into a soft giggle.
Thank you, Xingyue Yichen.
A sweet, innocent smile lit up her face as she thanked me sincerely.
Though Sukin stood beside her in silence.
The usual coldness in her eyes softened significantly.
It was her silent way of showing gratitude. Why did you help us?
Continue iced.
I'm here to form a contract with you. There was no need to beat around the bush, so I got straight to the point. You just saw that Ruse and I are both D-grade spirit armaments.
Are you sure you want to make an oath contract with us?
No. Not an oath contract. I waved my hand in dismissal. I'm sorry, but like I said,
My sister and I only accept oath contracts.
Shu Qingyu gaze turned cold.
so this guy's just like all the other men. He only lusting after my sister and me. I could hear the reluctance in Su Xinyu's voice. I looked at the sisters, my eyes filled with determination. What I mean is, an eternal contract.
An eternal contract?
Hearing my resolute words, the younger sister, Surushu, couldn't help but shudder in shock. Are you sure you're not joking? I'm fully aware of your current situation, and you both know what I've been through. Oaths can be broken. If you want to change your destiny,
Why not place a bigger bet? Trust me with your future, and let's fight together to take control of our own lives.
my eyes were unwavering. As long as I can contract twin spirit armaments and unlock their growth potential, I'm confident I can change both my future and that of the Su sisters.
秋拳义勇四入帅，可以签的了。
They knew it all too well. If they couldn't find a way to break through and raise their spiritual energy level, they would most likely be forced into an arranged political marriage by their family.
Married off to a complete stranger they had never even met.
From then on, they would live their entire lives as puppets under someone else's control.
But if they could form a contract with Yi Chen,
Maybe, just maybe,
they would actually stand a chance to turn their lives around.
a demon hunter can never contract two people at the same time. So, which one of us sisters do you have your eyes on?
苏晴雨 asked.
I glanced at Su Xingyu, who was as cold as ice, then looked at the sweet, gentle, and adorable Surusha.
Seeing this, the surrounding demon hunters ground their teeth in absolute envy and rage.
Damn.
Is this kid really making a choice? As I looked at them, the two girls reacted quite differently.
The reserved Su Qingyu slightly knitted her brows.
The sweet and obedient Surushu blushed with shyness.
I looked at both of them at the same time.
I choose both of you. Only kids make choices.
As an adult, I want you both.
What? Su Yinqi and Su Roxi's eyes widened. Ye Chen,
You've got to be kidding, right? How can a single demon hunter contract both of us sisters? Trust me, I have a way to contract both of you at the same time. I just need you two to nod and say yes. I said with absolute sincerity. After all, I was the man who possessed the twin contract stone. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Not only can we form a contract with Senior Yi Chen, but I also get to stay with my big sister. Shu danced around with pure joy. Fine. I'd love to see how you plan to contract the both of us.
but let me warn you, you'd better not be playing games with Ruxia and me.
Xu Qingyu decided to give it a shot.
Seeing this, I took hold of both Su Qingyu and Su Roxia's soft, delicate hands.
The three of us formed a small circle.
One hand was incredibly soft, warm, and gentle, while the other was flawless, smooth, and icy cool.
Next, I retrieved the twin contract stone from my spatial ring. In an instant, a burst of holy light completely enveloped the three of us. Our consciousness drifted into a vast sea of starlight and clouds.
Internal contract. In progress.
Your lives will be bound to the starry sky forever, sharing life and death, and can never be broken by any means.
Do you accept or refuse?
Without a second thought, I answered, I do. The very moment I made my choice, a brilliant star suddenly lit up within the cloud of starlight, illuminating the entire contract realm. How is this even possible? Su Qingyu stared at the scene before her, utterly unable to believe her eyes. This only ever happens when forming an eternal contract. He really did it. And I'm willing too. Before Su Qingyu could even snap out of her shock, her younger sister, Su Ruxie, eagerly agreed without hesitation. In the starry night sky, another speck of starlight appeared right next to the star I had become. I agree. Since things have already come to this, Su Qingyu naturally wouldn't back out now either. At the very center of all the twin stars in the shimmering sea of clouds, a triple star emerged, shining brighter than anything else.
爷前做听一样。
And Surusha, your eternal contract is successfully complete. As the holy light faded, I was back at the awakening square, holding nothing but a fire poker. My shoulders were draped with a tattered cloak. The fire poker stats. Fire attack increased by 10%. Fire resistance increased by 10%. The tattered cloak stats. Defense increased by 10%. Elemental attack increased by 10%. Around me, other newly contracted demon hunters stood proudly. Every single one of them held powerful, glowing spiritual items, while I was the only one who had contracted two completely dull, lifeless objects. But with the Eternal Contract finalized, I had officially become the only demon hunter on the entire Blue Star to contract 2 spiritual items at the same time. At that exact moment, the system that had been dormant inside me finally began to wake up. The dual growth system. I never would have guessed that after 2 whole years in this world, I'd finally activate a system, and one that lets me drain lifespan at that. If I keep draining the lives of fiends and hostile awakeners, I might even achieve true immortality. Without hesitating, I pulled up the system interface, eager to test out its effects. After sacrificing 38 years of my life, my F-grade talent actually achieved a second awakening to Tier 1. Compared to the basic F-grade Wild Shadow, not only are the stat boosts significantly higher, but I even gained an extra physical life feel attribute. This is an absolute game changer.
I clenched my fists.
My eyes burning with the ferocity of a lion breaking free from its cage. Tier 1 is just the beginning. As long as I have enough lifespan, I can keep evolving forever. As I released my spiritual energy, Shukinya and Surusha instantly transformed back into their human forms. Come find me after class, both of you. Let's strike while the iron is hot
And work on our synergy. During the break after class,
I went to the exchange and spent every single cent I had on combat skill books. Ever since Lin Waran broke our oathbound contract, my spiritual power had been completely drained, and all the combat skills I had previously mastered turned to dust. For now, I could only afford 3 F-grade skill books to temporarily scrape by. The F-grade skill, Swift Wind. It envelops your legs in the power of the gale, increasing movement speed by 30% for 10 seconds.
Coup style of 120 seconds.
Bloody Hand, F rank, creates a swirling snowstorm in the palm of your hand, generating a powerful suction force. Huju of 20 seconds. Charged Strike, a Frank, charges for 1 second to channel spiritual energy into the spirit weapon, dealing 200% explosive damage with the 20-second cooldown. Although these 3 martial skills aren't very strong, thanks to the life deduction feature of the dual evolution system, I can inject my own lifespan into these skills. As long as I have enough lifespan to spare, these skills can all be evolved to the next level.
Just then,
Sarusho and her sister wave at me.
Senior Jench, did we keep you waiting long? No, I just got here myself, I reply with a polite smile. Didn't we agree to practice coordinating our skills first? Let's get right to it. Fukinyu, however, gets straight to the point. Don't be in such a hurry.
let's go to my place first. I've got a massive treasure to show you both. I wiggle my eyebrows.
Looking incredibly mysterious. Really? Then let's hurry up and go. But we've only just met. Is it really okay for us to check out Senior Yi Chen's treasure right away? Would that be a little inappropriate?
Solution asks, her face flushed with excitement.
Gee, I'm warning you. That treasure of yours better not be anything weird. Otherwise, I'll smash it on the spot. Suchini's face goes completely dark. She then makes a scissor-cutting motion with her fingers. Seeing that, a cold shiver runs down my spine. My actual place is squeezed inside an old, run-down apartment building. Everything inside is in complete disarray. Did your place get ransacked by a burglar? How can you be so calm? Although Sukinyu doesn't look disgusted.
He can't help but tease me.
You get used to it.
I reply with a slightly awkward laugh.
Senior Ju-chan, hurry. Where's your treasure? Suusha, standing beside us, is practically bursting with anticipation, her curiosity growing stronger by the second.
Right after, I led the 2 sisters straight to the bathroom door.
Hiding it in the bathroom? What kind of weird kink is that?
Shikingyu couldn't help but complain.
I didn't say a word. Instead, I just swung the bathroom door open. Inside the cropped little space, a smooth, circular mirror began to warp and spin. A spatial vortex, glowing with a bronze radiance, materialized out of thin air. This was a ruin portal. The exact treasure I had been talking about. Whenever a ruin descends upon Blue Star, ruin portals will randomly spawn across the world.
In the sky, on the ground,
At oceans, deep in forests, or even in a cramped bathroom. It can show up anytime, anywhere. Step through this portal, and you'll find yourself in another world crawling with monsters. The glow radiating from the spatial vortex indicates the level of the ruin. A bronze glow means it's a bronze ruin, which only awakeners at the bronze rank or below can enter. Normally, when someone finds a hidden portal like this, they report it to the Magic Capital Security Bureau or the Demon Hunter Association to claim a reward, but I had absolutely no intention of doing that. This portal appeared last night. Time is tight, and our mission is critical. Didn't we say we needed to work on our teamwork? Well, there's no better way than real combat training.
Senior Yi-Chen.
Are you saying we should go straight into a ruin to train? Surusha stared at me, her wide, expressive eyes filled with complete disbelief. The 3 of us? You've got to be kidding me. Even the usually calm Shu Qingyu found this completely absurd. Ruins are extremely dangerous places. Usually, people only dare to enter with an exploration team of at least 20 people. The sisters had only just awakened their talents. And while Yu Chen had plenty of combat experience, his spiritual power was still only at the starting bronze level. For the three of them to jump straight into a ruin? Wasn't that just a suicide mission? Kidding? I'm dead serious. Stop messing around. We can just report this portal and trade the location for some magic crystals to boost our spiritual power. Su Tingyu tried to reason with me. After all, given their current combined strength, they weren't remotely qualified to explore a ruin. I don't have time to play around. I completely ignored her warning. Without another word, I took the lead and stepped right into the spatial vortex. My time is running out. I don't have a single second to waste. I have to start hunting these demon spawn immediately. That's so cool! Suocha didn't hesitate for a second and jumped in right after me. Seeing that both of us had already vanished from sight, Song Qingyu frowned, but she had no choice but to follow us in. As soon as we crossed the spatial vortex, a blinding, brilliant light flashed before our eyes. When the glare finally faded, Su Qingyu, Su Rushe, and I found ourselves standing inside a dimly lit mineshaft. Flickering candles hung on the damp, dark walls, casting long, eerie shadows of the three of us. Judging by the surroundings, this was clearly a goblin mine. With the twin sisters in tow, I began leading the way deeper into the cave. Before long, several goblins emerged from the shadows ahead, busily digging away, just as I thought. Goblins. Seeing that the demon spawn lurking here were only goblins, a complex look washed over Su Qinyu's face. Goblins were short, dwarfish creatures, covered in hairless, slimy, green skin. They had massive, pointed ears, blood, red, and a gaze dripping with malice and greed. Su Qingyu was incredibly relieved that this was a goblin nest. After all, goblins were known for their speed and cunning, but when it came to a direct, face-to-face clash, they were far from the strongest monsters. In fact, they were downright weak. Get ready to move, I said, my gaze sharpening as I focused my concentration. Goblin Minor. Rarity, common. Spiritual power realm, bronze level 1. The lowest class of goblin laborers. Remaining lifespan, 100 years. Got it. Su Roshu said, cracking her knuckles and itching for a fight. This was going to be her very first battle, and she was determined to put on a good show.
Qingyu, however, remained as cautious as ever.
Chi-Chen, do you have a plan?
Nope. We just charged straight in. I was highly confident. A mere bronze level 1 monster wasn't even worth worrying about. Soul weapon fusion. With those words, I tightly gripped the delicate hands of Su Qingyu and Su Roshu. Instantaneously, the bodies of the two sisters erupted with a dazzling, brilliant light. Much like a magical girl transformation, the glowing energy wrapped itself completely around my body. Within a split second, a sturdy, pitch-black fire poker materialized right in my hand, and on my shoulders was a tattered, dark green cloak. There were a total of 8 goblin miners in the mining area ahead. Before Su Qingyu and Su Rakshi could even react, I charged right in, completely single-handedly. Run! It's an awakened! Wait. He seems to be all by himself, and he's not even holding a spirit weapon. Cackle, cackle, cackle! He's probably just some lost ordinary guy. Brothers, take him down! Instead of running, the goblins hoisted their mining picks, ready to fight back. To think I was actually mistaken for a regular human by these things, I shook my head in disbelief. These damn goblins are seriously underestimating me. I immediately activated Sprint, the wind whipping beneath my feet. My speed instantly skyrocketed. In the blink of an eye, I was right in front of the goblin miners. Before they could even blink, I swung my fire poker and struck. The metal rod sliced through the air, unleashing a sharp, piercing whoosh. With a dull crack, I delivered a heavy blow straight to the head, smashing it right into a goblin miner's skull. The beast collapsed, instantly knocked cold. Then, I repeatedly jabbed the fire poker into its throat to finish it off. The moment the goblin miner fell, a pale white ghost drifted out of its body, as if its soul was leaving its physical shell. The spirit then coalesced into a ball of glowing light and absorbed into my chest. Congratulations, host, on killing a goblin miner. You have gained 1 year of lifespan. Remaining lifespan, 4 years. This guy is incredibly fast. He's definitely not just a normal human. He only has a low-grade spirit weapon. Don't be afraid. Everyone, charge together. Yum! Slaughter these demon hunters and make their women bear our children. It's been way too long since we tasted human women. A chorus of ear-splitting screeches erupt, waving their mining picks with sadistic glee. The goblins closed in to surround me. First, I unleashed a wide sweep to force back the goblin miners ahead of me. Then, spinning on my heel, I ducked low and cracked another goblin's skull, knocking it unconscious. I quickly followed up with 3 more strikes. Congratulations, host, on killing a goblin miner. You have gained 1 year of lifespan. Remaining lifespan, 5 years. Even with just a fire poker in hand, my footwork didn't falter for a single second. Single-handedly, I effortlessly took down 7 of these foul monsters. Seeing the last goblin miner trying to flee in the chaos, I activated Bloody Hand. A powerful gust of wind yanked the goblin right back to me. I then beat it to death with a flurry of strikes. Goblins are incredibly cunning creatures. If I let even one escape, the consequences would be catastrophic. Remaining lifespan, 11 years. Seeing my lifespan steadily climbing on the system screen, I was extremely pleased. Since my remaining lifespan had finally hit double digits, I decided to inject it into my combat skills to see what would happen. Injecting lifespan into Charged Strike. Deducting 5 years of lifespan to upgrade skill, Charged Strike has successfully advanced to level 1. Remaining lifespan, 6 years. With 6 years of life, I decided to upgrade another skill. Injecting lifespan into Sprint. 5 years of Sprint has been trained to mastery. Current remaining lifespan is only 1 year. Unable to proceed with further injections. Both cost 5 years of my lifespan. Will required 5 years.
But Swift Walk didn't upgrade directly, like Charged Strike did.
It seems Swift Walk might require even more of my lifespan.
In just a matter of minutes, I hunted down 8 goblin miners without taking any damage. From those 8 demon beasts, I only managed to extract 1 magic shard. After all, goblin miners are very low-level demon beasts, so the drop rate for these magic shards is pretty low. These magic shards are used to raise an awakened spiritual energy realm. They look just like a piece of glass, about the size of a fingernail. Senior Ji Chen, you're amazing. I didn't even get a clear look at these demon beasts before you wiped them all out.
The monsters near the entrance are generally pretty weak. If he couldn't even handle them,
We'd have absolutely no chance of getting out of here alive. So Qingyu paused, then changed her mind and said, "Go ahead and absorb this magic shard first. Your strength is indeed incredible. In fact, you're the strongest I've ever seen at the same rank. Only if your level increases. Will we have a chance to get out of here alive?" I didn't stand on ceremony with the 2 sisters, and immediately absorbed the magic shard dropped by the demon beast. As the shard's spiritual energy surged into my veins, I could clearly feel a warm current spreading throughout my entire body. But if I want to advance to bronze rank 2, I'll need to absorb at least 10 more magic shards. After absorbing the shard, I continued, heading deeper into the mine. Before long, I spotted signs of more demon beasts. In a wide open area, I actually discovered over 30 goblins. And besides goblin miners, there were also 2 goblin sharpshooters. Goblin sharpshooters. Rarity, level 1. Realm, bronze rank 2. Large goblin. Specializes in mid-range attacks, using iron whips. Remaining lifespan, 200 years. What do we do now? Seeing this, Xu Qingyu asked yet another soul-searching question. The situation in the ruins was exactly as she had expected. The deeper we went, the stronger the demon beasts would be. We'll take them down one by one. I took a quick moment to size up our odds. Sure, I've got plenty of combat experience under my belt, but taking on this many goblins all by myself? No way! That's suicide. On top of that, there are 2 bronze tier 2 goblin overseers guarding the mixed ore deposit.
the passage is tight.
To keep us from getting swarmed by those nasty creatures, we need to fall back to the narrowest part of the tunnel. And I'll have to undo my fusion with Rusu.
Rusho, you're on bait duty. Draw them over here.
Just, please be careful.
心愿一称, I won't let you down.
My plan is simple. Use Surusha as bait, lure the goblins into the narrow tunnel, and bottle them up. No matter how many of those monsters there are,
They won't be able to swarm us in a space this tight.
especially those goblin overseers. We won't even have room to swing their heavy chains.
Once Rosho headed out,
I hear near the fork in the tunnel. Over in the mining area, a few goblins were swinging their pickaxes with all their might. Right then, a sweet, fragile voice broke the silence. "Excuse me, I'm lost. Could someone please tell me where the exit is?" Every single goblin miner froze, dropping their pickaxes to the ground. In unison, they whipped their heads toward the entrance.
Sting there, with long dark hair and pristine white thigh-high socks, was an incredibly adorable,
An utterly helpless, human girl. Jackpot! This is our ticket out of here. If I get my hands on that human girl, I'll level up like crazy.
Back off! I saw her first.
She's mine. At the sight of Furushu,
The goblins turned into a pack of rabid dogs, seeing a prime piece of meat.
drooling like crazy, they charged straight at her, completely losing their minds.
Ah, GG goblins. Help! Somebody, please save me!
Rishu's face turned white with terror, and she began to run, crying out in sheer panic. But the very second she spun around, a wicked, playful smirk crept onto her lips. "Oh, this is too much fun. Get out of my way. That human female is mine." A massive goblin overseer roared, swinging his heavy iron chain and knocking down the smaller miners in front of him. He took the lead, charging ahead of the pack. "Senior Yu Chen, they're coming. They're so scary. I'm so frightened." In no time, Rusho reached my ambush spot, and, with crocodile tears in her eyes, she dove straight into my arms. "It's okay. It's okay. Your sister and I are both right here with you." First, I gently stroked Surusho's forehead to comfort her, then pulled a sharp dagger from my spatial ring and pressed it into her hand. "The goblin army is about to swarm in. In a moment, I'll knock these bastards out, and you finish them off." You want me to finish them off? But senior, I'm too scared." Shurushi gripped the dagger with trembling hands, 2 timid eyes completely squeezed shut. "You can do this, Rushe." As I got into position to ambush the goblins, I gave her an encouraging look. Surushe nodded hesitantly, as if summoning every ounce of courage to steel her resolve. Then, she handed the dagger I gave her back to me. "Senior Yichen, I think you should take the dagger back. I prefer using this instead." Turning around, Suvrusha whipped a massive steel saber out of her spatial ring. I was instantly left dumbfounded.
Seriously, and you claim you don't know martial arts?
At that exact moment, a massive horde of goblins was about to storm the battlefield.
Charged strike.
I immediately began channeling my energy to unleash my martial skill.
As spiritual energy continuously surged into my spirit weapon,
The fire poker in my hand began to radiate an overwhelming, powerful aura.
hey there, cute little girl.
Run along now. Don't get in my way. If my swing catches you, you're in for a world of pain. Seeing Surusha standing completely still, the goblin overseer leading the pack
Thought he was about to get his way.
But the second he showed his face, my fire poker, charged for a full 5 seconds, smashed directly onto his head.
The goblin overseer's head split open like a shattered watermelon, bursting instantly as blood and brains splattered everywhere. Congratulations, host, on killing the goblin overseer. You have gained 2 years of lifespan. Host with mini lifespan. 3 years. The iron helmet on the goblin's head offered absolutely no protection, and he was instantly killed by my single strike. Once the goblin overseer leading the charge was taken down in one shot, the other goblins behind him swarmed inside like a pack of wild animals.
I immediately pulled the trap lever I had prepared, and the tunnel entrance was instantly blocked by collapsing rubble. This move instantly cut the swarming goblins in half. The ones that made it inside were all the lowest tier goblin miners, numbering around 15 in total.
Right after that, Surusha and I started teaming up. My job was to use the fire poker to knock those demon spawns out cold, while Rusha stayed back in a safe spot to deliver the finishing blow. With one swift sweep, I knocked a goblin right in front of me senseless, sending it flying right to Rusei's feet.
Oh no, what do I do? I can't do this.
She was crying like a total coward.
But the steel blade in her hand? Every single strike was brutal and deadly.
On top of that, her slashing style was ruthlessly savage. She went straight for the chest, stabbing right through their hearts. Even after they were dead, she'd keep stabbing them over and over again. Seeing her mutilate corpses like that sent a serious shiver down my spine. Out of the corner of my eye, I could actually see a creepy, twisted grin spreading across her face. It got to the point where, before I could even knock the goblins out, Rusha would charge straight ahead and slaughter the thrashing goblin miners herself. Demon blood splattered all over her face, and even her pure white thigh-high stockings were completely stained with crimson. And even after all the monsters were dead, she actually looked like she wanted more.
Awesome job, Rusha.
I gave her a big thumbs up. Seriously, who wouldn't love a ruthless, bloodthirsty little devil like her? It's all thanks to your encouragement. Senior Yejong, I only found the courage to take this step because of you. Rosho blushed shyly, instantly turning back into a cute, sweet little girl right in front of me. After clearing out the monsters, the two of us began looting the battlefield. Talk about lucky. First, I pulled 2 magic crystals right out of the goblin overseer's corpse. Look at this, Rushi! But just as a huge grin spread across my face, disaster struck. While Rusha was looting a corpse, a goblin miner lurking in the shadows suddenly lunged out. It hurled its heavy pickaxe straight at the back of her head. Thank God my reflexes kicked in. I lunged and tackled Wuxi out of the way just in time. But even with that, the flying pickaxe still sliced right through a few strands of her hair. If I'd been a split second slower, Rushi's skull would have been split wide open by that goblin. As I fell on top of her, I didn't just lay there. I threw my fire poker with all my might, impaling the goblin right through the throat. But even pinned to the wall with its neck pierced, the monster wasn't dead yet. Rushuik immediately deactivated her spirit weapon form and rushed over to deliver the final blow. Are you guys okay? Jikinji spun around, desperate to check on her sister and Yachen. But the moment she saw us, she froze dead in her tracks. Right now, I was pinned flat on top of her little sister, Rushi. And our lips were locked, staring into each other's eyes. Pairing and connecting with the host's spirit weapon. Connection successful. I was completely stunned. I never expected to accidentally pair with her. But even crazier, I realized that our lifespans could actually be shared. The numbers on the system screen began to jump wildly, and in just a few seconds, I drained 50 years of lifespan from her. I urgently need lifespan to boost my power. Sorry, little sister. I'll just borrow 50 years from you for now. Host's remaining lifespan, 68 years. Surusu's remaining lifespan, 41 years. Senior Year Chen. At this moment, Surusu had no idea her lifespan had already been taken by me. She blushed deeply, while I made a startling discovery. Once we were connected, Surusha could also undergo life deduction, injecting 3 days of lifespan into the tattered cloak, with just a slight draw of spiritual energy from heaven and earth.
输血是肯破例于本。
Her talent successfully awakened. Black robe, F grade. Defense, 20%. When attacked, reflects 22% of her own attribute damage back at the enemy. Lasting 3 days. I could barely believe my eyes. I thought it was terrifying enough when I took 3 years to awaken my own talent. But Surusha, she only took 3 days. This proves that she was exceptionally gifted from the very beginning.
That tattered cloak of hers was nothing but a disguise.
A golden scale is no creature of a shallow pond. Once it meets the wind and storm, it transforms into a dragon. The smirk on my face grew wider and wider. I continued using life deduction, wanting to see just where the limit of her potential lay.
行月已沉，生于马，数数序。
Felt her heart flutter with nervous excitement, especially now that her talent had awakened. Surusha could feel the surging spiritual energy in her veins rising continuously. Yet, she didn't realize her talent had already awakened. She credited all of these strange sensations to me. Sina Ji-chen, this feeling, isn't it a bit too intense? Added attribute, all stats double at night. Time, 5 years. With her talent awakening again, she has already reached the same rank as me, continuing for another 36 years. Darkness shrouds all things. Shurusha's spirit weapon awakens once more. Surusha's mating lifespan, 5 years, due to the cloak's warding. Defense, 40%. When attacked, reflects 40% of dark attribute damage. All stats double at night. To think her third awakening only took 36 years. I was honestly a bit terrified by Surusha's sheer potential. After all, it took me over 30 years just to achieve a single awakening, and I only managed to reach level 1. Is the gap between geniuses and ordinary people really this vast?
Hey! Have you hugged her long enough?
Seeing me act so shamelessly, Xu Xingyu simply couldn't stand to watch any longer. I gave a tactical cough and quickly helped Surusha up from the ground. My bad. The situation just now was way too dangerous, and I didn't manage to control my strength properly. After clearing out the battlefield, I didn't just harvest 5 magic essences. I also obtained an F rank skill book. My FAQ read skill actually triggered on a corpse and dropped an F rank manual.
Too bad the quality is just too low.
Sushinichio tossed the F-rank book to me.
Looking a bit disappointed. Still, finding any item on a monster's corpse is better than nothing. This Fank book is actually pretty good. The moment I got my hands on it, I didn't hesitate for a second. I learned it right away. Toshinshu rolled her eyes at me. A mere F rank gathering skill is completely useless. Hey, you never know with drop rates. Who knows? Maybe I'm the chosen one, destined to get extra rewards every single time. After absorbing all 5 magic essences in one go, I could feel the spiritual energy inside me getting closer and closer to Bronze Tier 2. Suddenly, with a deafening rumble, the massive boulder I used to block the passage was dug through by the goblin miners. Wait, wasn't she wearing white stockings just now? Why did they suddenly turn into black stockings? Oh, the white stockings are over here. This is another girl! They look exactly the same. They must be twins. This is just too good! The moment the goblins saw Su Qingyu, the excite light on their faces grew even more intense. A dark red glint flashed in their eyes, and they lunged at us in a mad frenzy. Ye Chen, if we don't leave now, it'll be too late.
Su Qingyu quickly grabbed her younger sister Surusha's hand and yelled at me to run.
In a situation like this, hesitating for even a second means we'll have to fight our way out. I nodded and stepped right in front of the sisters. Fusion! In an instant! Su Qingyu and Sugoshia's bodies turned into rings of light, wrapping entirely around me. This time, though I was still holding the wooden stick in my hand, the tattered cape on my back was gone, replaced by a suit of pitch black armor covering me from head to toe. The armor was forged from black cloud iron locks. It was incredibly solid, lacking any flashy appearance, yet possessing a quiet, deep, and heavy texture. Right now, I felt like a great general clad in the pitch black night, radiating a chilling, murderous aura. Seeing this, Su Qingyu was completely stunned. What is going on? Rusho, how is it that the useless tattered cloak you had just a moment ago has suddenly transformed into a suit of dark knight armor? I don't know what happened either. Just a moment ago, I felt a warm current flowing through me, constantly nourishing my spiritual pathways. Maybe at that exact moment, my hidden talent suddenly awakened. Hearing this, I just smiled faintly. Twitching my fire poker, I charged straight at the goblins in front of us. How can this demon hunter use 2 spiritual items by himself? Don't be afraid. The spiritual energy coming off this kid isn't that strong. He's just a bronze tier 1 demon hunter. Take him down, then tear those spiritual items right off him. The goblins rushing at me didn't flinch at all. We clashed head on. As the spiritual energy exploded from within me, dark power radiating from the knight armor enveloped my entire body. Now, every time I take a hit, a burst of black flame will briefly erupt on the attacker, dealing 80% dark element counter damage. And since it's nighttime, all of the knight armor stats are doubled. That means 80% bonus elemental damage. Just 2 hits is all it takes to completely wipe out a goblin. What are these black flames? Damn it! We can't break through this black armor's defense. Run! We are no match for this guy. The goblin miners lost all will to fight and began throwing down their weapons, fleeing for their lives. Bloodhand! Seeing the goblins trying to escape, I opened my palm, and a powerful gust of wind erupted, directly pulling the fleeing goblins right back to me. You think you can run? Not a chance. Congratulations, host. You have killed the Goblin Overseer, gaining 2 years of life. Remaining lifespan, 86 years. As the Bronze Tier 2 Goblin Overseer collapsed, I took less than 5 minutes to slaughter all the remaining goblins. On top of that, I harvested 86 years of lifespan. Rushu, what tier has your talent awakened to?
This black armor. It's seriously way too overpowered.
Once the battle was over,
Su Qingyu immediately shifted back into her human form. She lovingly caressed the spirit weapon her little sister had transformed into. Unable to take her hands off, her eyes were shining with pure joy.
seeing her little sister grow so strong, Su Qingyu was actually happier than when she had awakened her own talent.
I'm not really sure about this either.
But once we get back to the academy and run a test,
We should be able to find out my exact rank. Surusha was completely clueless about her current talent rank. Earth grade, I said, getting straight to the point to clear up her confusion. Earth grade? That means Rushi's talent rank just awakened 3 times in a row? Oh my god. This is absolutely incredible. All of this is thanks to Senior Yi Chen.
although Surusha couldn't be absolutely certain,
Her female intuition told her
that this awakening was no accident.
it definitely had everything to do with Ye Chen.
Hearing this, Zhu Qi's face filled with deep yearning.
Yishen, can I awaken too?
When they were fighting those goblins just now, Shu King's fire poker weapon hadn't been of much use at all. I want to become a source of strength for you too. I don't want to hold you guys back.
King Zhu,
As for whether you can awaken your talent, I'm not entirely sure either. But we could always give it a try. Before I could even finish my sentence,
Shu Qingyu's soft lips pressed against mine, shutting me up.
I froze in shock.
I never expected that Su Qingyu, the legendary icy campus beauty, would actually be this bold and proactive. She was just that desperate to grow stronger.
The sweet warmth of the young girl washed over me. All I could see in front of my eyes was Su Qing's shy, you stubborn face.
Her sweet kiss tasted like a freezing cold sundae, incredibly refreshing and sweet, soft and lingering. Pairing with host spirit weapon. Connection successful. Target, Su Qingyi. Gender, female. Age, 18. Remaining lifespan, 91 years. Talent, fire poker. Realm, bronze rank 1. Ye Chen.
Is this working?
心情易怪妇入商量。
There was no system inside her body.
So in this moment, all she could feel was the intense shyness and pounding heart of her very first intimate contact with a guy. It doesn't.
Let me try this instead, I said, taking the initiative.
The passion between us began to swirl and intensify.
After that intense session, I had directly borrowed 50 years of lifespan from Su Qingyu, but it didn't matter, because my lifespan and my spirit weapon's lifespan were fully shared anyway.
I can just pay you back later. But if we can't even clear the first stage,
Even if we have all the lifespan in the world, it's completely useless.
Su Qingyu let out a soft groan.
She could clearly feel something inside her body being drawn out by me. Having borrowed her lifespan,
I need to get to work, injecting 5 years of lifespan into the fire poker. The spiritual meridians in her body are still dormant. Injecting 10 years. Su Qingyu's spiritual meridians are starting to wither.
even becoming weaker than they were before. System alert. Abnormality detected in Su Qingyu's spiritual meridians. Continuing the progression might be risky.
Qingju, I'm sorry.
It seems your spiritual meridians cannot awaken if I keep going.
You might not even be able to materialize your armament spiritual weapon.
I didn't expect this to happen either. If we continue, Su Qingyu will likely end up as an ordinary human. Keep going.
Chu Qingyu's gaze was sharp and icy.
She had already made up her mind.
All right then.
I nodded. Since this is Su Qingyu's own choice, I can only go all out.
The same thing, injecting 20 years of lifespan into the fire poker.
But every effort is like a stone sinking into the ocean without making even a single ripple. 40 years. Perhaps this is Su Qingyu's destiny, one that can never be changed. System alert. Su Qingyu's remaining lifespan is only 1 year.
Unable to continue the progression. Lifespan, in front of Su Qingyi's talent, is like throwing water into a sieve.
No matter how much is poured in, there is absolutely no response. Left with no choice,
I can only channel my own lifespan into Su Qingyu's body. Deducting another 100 years.
the fire poker can no longer be materialized, and the spiritual meridians in Su Qingyu's body have regressed to an unawakened state. How could this happen?
The worst has happened. Su Qingyu can no longer feel any spiritual energy in her veins.
She has completely reverted to an ordinary human.
It seems lifespan progression is not 100% foolproof.
And still carries many unknown risks. I reached out, trying to soothe the despair on Su Qingyu's face.
This wasn't something she could control.
So I could only try to comfort her.
Yi Chen, help me.
Can't you create miracles?
Please. Just then, a single crystalline tear rolled down Su Qingyu's soft cheek.
And fell onto the web of my hand. I froze for a moment. I never expected the usually cold and proud Su Qingyu to shed tears like this. I nodded, cupping Su Jingyu's tear-stained face with both hands.
Her tears slipped into my mouth with a salty tang, blending completely with the sweet, intoxicating taste of her lips.
I hoped my own spiritual resonance could alter the outcome of the simulation. 130 years. Her spiritual veins awaken, restoring the weapon to a fire poker. 150 years. A holy light descends. Heaven helps those who try.
Su Qingyu's spiritual vein has finally awakened as a silver spear. Next, decange an additional 20% light attribute damage.
And 20% true damage. Host's remaining lifespan, 26 years. Su Qingyu's remaining lifespan, 1 year. After countless trials and tribulations.
抒情语的谈判还是反了有胃口。
Yi Chen, this is amazing!
We actually did it!
Hui Qingyu wraps her arms around my neck.
As our lips part, she gives me a quick, gentle kiss on the cheek.
We did it. Although it took 150 years for Su Qingyu's talent to successfully break through,
I don't regret it for a single second.
after all, lifespan is just a resource. I can always steal more from others later. Sister, you're so unfair.
Metapholizing Senior Yi Chen all to yourself for so long.
See? I told you so.
This is all thanks to Senior Yi Chen.
叔叔说不哥哥家了。
But her words are filled with genuine happiness for her sister's breakthrough. Once we enter the fusion state,
A pair of angelic wings immediately erupts from my back.
the angel's wings are as pure as snow, while the fallen angel's wings are as dark as the night.
A faint mist swirls around my body.
Like the physical manifestation of primeval chaos.
Figuring in and out of existence.
For every 10 stacks of divine ascent consumed, a heavenly wheel sword is summoned. The heavenly wheel sword deals 100% true damage, and completely ignores any block.
Once Abyssal Malice reaches 100 stacks, you can consume all of it to activate the Death Realm,
Dealing 200% of all damage previously taken
as true damage. Spirit Weapon Transmutation. The host spirit weapon can take on the appearance of any awakening stage,
This only affects its appearance.
and does not alter its actual stats. Holding the Divine Emblem Silver Spear in my hand, wearing the armor of the Dark Knight, and with a pair of interwoven black and white angel wings on my back, the twin school beauties once mocked as useless have now been completely reborn.
They have become entirely beyond anyone's reach.
My eyes flicker with the alternating glows of light and darkness.
My gaze, as brilliant as a rainbow.
I can't wait to test out Su Qingyu and Surusa's new abilities. But before testing them out, I need to clean up the battlefield first. This is exactly when the value of my greed talent shines. But to advance it to the Earth rank, 25 years of my lifespan are being consumed. Congratulations, your greed has successfully advanced to Earth rank.
When successfully extracting magic crystals from a corpse,
There's a 50% chance to obtain an extra magic crystal. Courage up, 1 second. Host's remaining lifespan, 1 year. After activating greed, on the goblin corpses scattered across the ground, I managed to collect 8 magic crystals. That's 3 more than last time.
This is a massive boost. For me,
Once the magic crystals are collected, the spiritual energy inside me instantly erupts, soaring upward like a giant manifested dragon. Congratulations, host. Your spiritual energy realm has broken through to bronze rank 2.
at this moment, my power has taken a massive leap forward.
And I have officially stepped into the next phase. With my lifespan and magic crystals depleted, I decide to venture deeper into the ruins once again. Flittering the black and white wings on my back, I lift my body slightly off the ground and glide through the corridor.
In the blink of an eye,
we arrive at the next goblin stronghold.
This time, facing a larger and much stronger horde of goblins, I don't bother formulating any strategy. Instead, I reveal myself right in front of the monsters.
the number of goblins in this stronghold far exceeds the ones I just faced.
First, there were hundreds of goblin
Miners, plus 5 bronze tier 2 goblin overseers.
And right in the middle of the goblin horde, 2 goblins capable of controlling magical elements appeared.
To wipe out these demon spawns, you need a well-balanced exploration party at the very least. Flame Goblin and Frost Goblin. Rarity, F Realm, Bronze Tier 3. Description: Goblin mages capable of elemental attacks. Remaining lifespan, 300 years. Although their size was identical to the lowest tier goblin miners,
And they were even shorter than the bronze tier 2 goblin overseers.
their skin color was completely different. The Flame Goblins were
a crimson red, while the frost goblins were a deep azure blue. The two goblin mages immediately ordered the horde of demon spawns to attack me.
Clearly, their status was even higher than the goblin overseers. But even in the face of this massive horde,
I didn't break a sweat. I even flew down, landing right in the middle of the goblin miners' encirclement. I didn't even bother dodging their incoming attacks. With a pair of magnificent wings on my back, the demon spawns saw me as easy prey, served right to them on a silver platter. They swarmed in, launching a frenzy of wild attacks. As long as they killed the demon hunter, he could do whatever they wanted to the spirit beast once the fusion was undone. This thought drove the goblins absolutely insane with bloodlust. With every heavy blow they landed,
Shurugshul's black flame reflect damage would instantly trigger.
I have now advanced to Bronze Tier 2 at 80% completion, but my reflect damage alone is enough to instantly kill a lowest tier goblin miner. And with every single hit I take, I stack another layer of the abyssal corruption effect, increasing my reflect damage by an extra 1%. Ding! Congratulations on killing a goblin miner. You have gained 1 year of lifespan. Remaining lifespan, 101 years. Before I could even swing my silver spear once, the surrounding horde,
hundreds of attacking goblins had already collapsed to the ground.
just like that, I harvested a massive bounty of soul lifespan.
Damn, human.
What on earth did you do to our kind? The two goblin mages stared in utter shock at the scene before them.
They began gathering elemental magic in their hands, ready to fight to the bitter end.
Fireball, ice shard, a fist-sized fireball, and a razor-sharp ice spike hurtled straight toward me. I folded my angelic wings in front of me to block.
Even the spells cast by Bronze Tier 3 goblins were easily neutralized by them.
But the two goblin mages who launched the attack weren't going to get off so easy.
The previous attacks from the goblin miners had already maxed out my abyssal corruption stacks. And at this very moment, Sovershu's damage reflection has reached 180%. In an instant, the flame goblins and frost goblins are swallowed whole by pitch black flames.
Congratulations, host. You have slain a flame goblin. Reward, 3 years of life.
Congratulations, host. You have slain a frost goblin. Reward, 3 years of life.
Remaining lifespan, 117 years. With every single goblin in the mine wiped out, a swirling spatial vortex instantly opens up in the center.
This means they finally cleared the ruins.
The Awakeners can now use this portal to return to Lansin.
Wait, we cleared it. Already?
That was way too easy. There wasn't even a boss to fight.
I hadn't even warmed up yet. The ruins are officially cleared. The two sisters transform back into their human forms. Alongside the portal, 3 treasure chests materialize out of thin air. These are the divine rewards for conquering the ruins.
Every Awakener gets one. Normally, they contain mana crystals, which can be taken out of the ruins to trade.
If you're lucky, you might even get rare items. Sarusha can't wait to pop open her chest.
But inside, there are only 2 measly mana crystals. Shukinyu and I have the exact same luck. Our chests only contain 2 mana crystals each. All that's left now is to sweep the battlefield and head on out.
Whoa, hold on. Don't touch anything yet.
I say, stopping Sukinyi and Surushui in their tracks.
Leave the looting to me. After all, the goddess of luck practically lives in my pocket. Do you seriously think you're going to get insanely lucky every single time? Although Su Qingyu scoffs at my greed skill, she and her sister still stop what they're doing, even if the odds are slim. Every extra crystal is better than nothing. But
I don't immediately start extracting mana crystals from the monsters' corpses. Instead, I begin upgrading my greed skill to level 5, infusing 108 years of lifespan into greed. Desire overrides conscious thought. Greed has evolved into the S-rank fox of greed.
when successfully extracting mana crystals from monster corpses, you have a 100% chance to gain an extra 3 mana crystals and a 30% chance to double the total mana crystals obtained. Additionally, obtaining items in the ruins will summon the Fox of Greed. You may consume lifespan to either double the quantity of the items or upgrade their quality.
Poke call, 1 second. Host's remaining lifespan, 9 years. An S rank. I never expected the level 5 evolution of my greed skill to be such a massive success.
After 108 years of use,
It finally evolved into an S rank skill.
what does rank even mean? On Blue Star,
An S rank skill manual costs an average of 1 billion.
that is equivalent to trading 100,000 grams of platinum. And for a resource-type skill like the Jar of Greed,
Its value could be even higher.
as this greed skill advances,
The spiritual energy it consumes keeps climbing as well.
cleaning up the battlefield took me a solid 8 hours. Warning, warning! Under the combined boost of the Jar of Greed and Combat Storm,
I obtained 224 magic crystals.
normally, these corpses would only drop about 40 magic crystals.
But now, the loot has multiplied by 5 times.
Congratulations, host. Your spiritual realm has broken through to bronze rank 5. After absorbing all 224 magic crystals, my spiritual energy has jumped 3 ranks in a row. As my realm continues to rise,
The magic crystals required for a breakthrough will also keep climbing.
Aside from the magic crystals, I also looted a Tier 1 antidote pill from the Frost Goblin. Tier 1. The moment the item dropped,
A black pot wrapped in thick mist instantly appeared in front of me.
the pot was embedded with all kinds of precious gems, looking ancient and mysterious.
Its surface was etched with complex alchemical patterns that merged to form a laughing, twisted human face.
Which was absolutely spine-chilling.
Master, I only need to consume 2 years of your lifespan.
To upgrade or double the item you just obtained.
Come, let me serve you, master, said the twisted face on the jar of greed. Sure. I nodded without a second thought. My generous master.
Let's begin then.
The smile on the jar of greed grew even creepier, and the mist surrounding it slowly enveloped me.
Then, it drew a piece of soul right out of me.
Host's remaining lifespan, 7 years. After taking my lifespan,
Jar of Greed swallowed the Tier 1 antidote pill in front of it. The alchemical arrays on its surface began to emit a strange glow.
The entire pot started working rapidly, constantly puffing out steam.
After a long while, it spat a Tier 2 antidote pill right out of its mouth.
The value of a Tier 2 pill is several times greater than that of a Tier 1 pill.
This is way more profitable than just doubling the amount. Master, your luck is indeed incredible.
Would you like to keep going?
Next time, you might get 2 grade 2 antidote pills, or even 1 grade 3 antidote pill.
I can still keep going?
I was absolutely thrilled to hear this.
of course, but for the second time, it will cost you 20 years of your lifespan. I see.
Then, maybe next time. Since I didn't have any extra lifespan left to pay, I could only let the Fox of Greed leave. But facing the tenfold lifespan demanded by the Fox of Greed,
I didn't feel worried at all. Instead, I was filled with anticipation. This Fox of Greed really is a great treasure. Perhaps even I didn't realize that.
at this very moment, a smile just like the Fox of Greed's crept onto my face.
Since we had been fighting all night,
The sisters had fallen asleep leaning against each other while I was extracting the magic crystals.
Seeing this, I picked both of them up and walked straight out of the dungeon. Once we got back home, I tucked them into bed and collapsed onto the sofa, falling fast asleep. When I opened my eyes again, I gave a comfortable stretch, only to find myself wrapped in a rich, sweet fragrance.
Senior Yu Chen,
You're finally awake. Before I could even react,
Ru Wuxiao, wearing her pink rabbit pajamas, lunged forward and belly flopped right onto me.
What the heck? This.
although Rusho's body was incredibly soft, she was way too excited and had jumped ridiculously high. I felt like I had just been hit head-on by a speeding train. Rusho, stop messing around. You're not a kid anymore.
图情一时真报喜，克敌天从未想立。
I struggled to open my eyes.
She was standing nearby, wearing green dinosaur pajamas.
Rukwik's crushing leap had forcefully jolted me awake.
Senior Di Chen.
Are you surprised?
Are you shocked?
Rusha was still sprawled across my chest.
Blinking her big, lively eyes. Her smile is still just as warm and comforting. Anyway, once that whole ridiculous drama wrapped up, I brought the 2 sisters over to the Academy's training grounds. But honestly, my mind was completely elsewhere. After all, I awakened 2 years ago. Training with these rookies who just awakened their talents is a total waste of my skills.
You see, the Soul Martial Academy doesn't group us by grades.
We are grouped strictly by rank.
No freshman, sophomore, or junior years.
Just the bronze class.
Silver class, gold class,
And platinum class. Once you've been here for over 5 years, or if your rank surpasses platinum and hits diamond, you graduate.
but reaching the diamond rank within 5 years is insanely difficult. Right now, in the entire Magic Capital Soul Martial Academy, Lin Riarn is the only one with a real shot at it. Ever since he signed a covenant with the double-rank hunter, Liu Hajian, he's been backed by the massive resources of the Liu family. His spiritual power has already reached gold rank, level 9. His strength is absolutely terrifying. Meanwhile, here I am, still stuck in the bronze class, taking lessons with a bunch of fresh rookies.
During combat class.
The combat techniques the instructor is showing off actually incorporate my own core theories. Back then, I integrated some of Earth's kickboxing techniques into the Academy's combat curriculum. On Earth, nobody has awakened powers, so our combat style is purely focused on raw technique. That's why the headmaster, Lei Wanshan, fully backed my ideas back then. It's hilarious. Think the stuff this instructor is teaching was designed by me. For the past week, I've basically been slacking off in class. But behind the scenes, I've been giving Su Qingye and Su Roshi some intensive private coaching. Aside from kickboxing, I also taught them traditional Chinese martial arts. Lately, Su Qingye and Su Roxi's close quarters combat skills have skyrocketed. Sure, physical combat is mainly for hunters.
Well, so weapons need to master it too.
After all, inside the Abyssal Ruins, a hunter and their sole weapon can't stay fused 24/7. Sometimes, fighting side by side actually gets the job done much faster. Besides training the sisters in close quarters combat,
I've also been testing out the weapon illusion feature I unlocked from the system.
to keep anyone from finding out about the sisters' newly awakened talents, I set both Tsukini and Surasi's weapons to look like their most basic, default forms. Under this disguise, to outsiders, My soul weapon still looks like a dull, basic vessel-type weapon.
Even if you look at it in a mirror, it's exactly the same.
But to my own eyes, I could clearly see the pitch-black armor and the
Silver spear gleaming with sharp light. Hey, Yu Chen. Don't think just because you awakened 2 years earlier than us, you can put on airs here.
If you don't want to learn, then get the hell out!
In the training room, a few guys saw me resting on the side this whole time
And started trash-talking me right in front of the instructor.
Stuni Yu-chan.
Please fix your attitude.
The muscular female instructor gave me a well-meaning warning. Instructor,
My attitude is actually perfectly fine.
I shrugged helplessly.
It's just that these theoretical drills are incredibly boring.
Things only get interesting when there's real combat involved.
So I pointed at the guys who had just tried to lecture me.
Why did you guys come up here together and test whether my attitude is correct or not? Haha, fine. We'll take you on together.
Who's afraid of you, Yi Chen?
Don't think you're hot stuff just because you awakened a few years before us. I casually pointed out 10 groups of awakeners.
Instructor, we're going to do a real combat drill.
You don't have any objections, do you? As long as both sides agree, the instructor has no right to interfere.
But she still kindly warned me. Yi Chen, are you sure you want to take on 10 groups all by yourself?
There's really no need to rush like this. To prove yourself, you can challenge them one by one. If your energy runs low, we can stop. No one can force you to push through this training.
Thanks for your concern, instructor.
To repay the favor, I'll help you whip these freshmen into shape. I gave a confident smile.
If I don't turn up the heat on these guys,
It seems they'll never learn to show some respect.
All right then. Since this is your own choice,
I won't stand in your way. But since there's a huge gap in strength, I'd expect everyone to pull their punches.
don't ruin the team spirit.
with that, the instructor led everyone to a massive octagon cage.
抒情者、速手者
And I were the first to step inside.
菊晨，如就按你，我抬到发艺期。
That leaves 10 for you to handle yourself.
Sukingir's face is dead serious.
As she carefully lays out their battle plan.
On the surface, this looks like a mock combat.
Exercise. But it's actually a deeply personal grudge match.
Shu Qingye knows it all too well.
That the boys are all gunning for Yu Chen.
While the girls are targeting his younger sister.
So even if she didn't divide the opponents like this, the outcome would have been exactly the same.
Then, their opponents begin entering the arena one by one. Every single person stepping into the octagonal cage is wearing a spirit power detector around their neck. The moment an awakened tries to use their power,
The detector will flash with a blinding light and trigger an alarm.
to keep it fair, using spirit power is strictly forbidden in combat training. Now, the guy who led the provocation earlier is named Wam Hao.
His parents might not be from some elite family,
But they are prominent, wealthy merchants in the city. He gets 10 magic crystals to absorb every single day. Thanks to that, his spirit power has already reached Bronze Tier 3. Wang Hao points a finger straight ahead.
and roars. Get him, everyone. Whoever lands a solid punch on Ye Chen's face,
I'll give them a magic crystal on the spot.
Rung Hao's loud shout echoes through the arena.
A massive reward always brings out the boldest fighters.
The moment they hear there's a magic crystal on the line,
Everyone charges at me like they've been shot with adrenaline, ready to tear me apart.
even a few of the girls can't resist the prize
And join the mob of guys. Facing this aggressive mob, I just shake my head in disappointment. Their footwork is a complete mess, without a single decent move. The moment they took their very first step, I knew the fight was already over. I don't even bother attacking at first. Instead, I light up the floor with a smooth butterfly step.
Weaving and bobbing with effortless pendulum slips to dodge every blow.
My movements are so fluid and quick.
That I'm completely unpredictable.
These newly awakened rookies can't even graze a hair on my head. Even the instructor watching from the sidelines is absolutely mesmerized by my footwork, realizing my technique is actually sharper than anything they teach. Meanwhile, on the other side of the cage, under my expert coaching,
Su Qingye, who has mastered the Wing Chun one-inch punch, is absolutely dominating the field.
Su Qingyu is calm and composed, making him a perfect fit for this kind of counter-attacking style. He is currently facing 3 female opponents. In just a single clash, they were beaten black and blue by Su Qingye. Ling Che's one-inch punch might not look like a massive, flashy attack, but it actually carries immense hidden power. The damage it deals is absolutely devastating. These girls have never seen such a bizarre technique before. They are instantly beaten to a pulp, completely caught off guard, left with absolutely no idea how to defend themselves. But he is forced to retreat, step by step, quickly backed into a corner of the octagon cage.
Ye Chen, don't just run away like a coward.
If you have the balls, face us head on. Come on, hit me, you absolute coward. I have honestly never heard such a bizarre request in my life. Dodging my opponent's attack with ease, they throw a backhand punch right into their face. With a heavy, sickening thud, the guy is instantly knocked out cold. My style is all about one word: speed. There are absolutely no wasted movements. I even held back a bit of my power on that last strike. Otherwise, he would have ended up with a severe concussion at the very least. You sneaky bastard! You didn't fight back just to catch us off guard, didn't you? Boys, let's take him down together. Wang Hao has absolutely no idea how deep of a grave he's digging. He still thinks he has the absolute upper hand.
with the guys attacking from the back.
Wan Hao notices that none of the girls are lying on the ground yet.
So, he gets a sudden twisted idea to use 4 girls as human shields, planning to exploit my gentle nature toward women.
But what Wang Hao never expected was, while I dropped the guys with a single punch each, I grabbed the girls by the waist and delivered 2 extra knee strikes.
This sends every single girl acting as a shield crashing to the floor, rolling their eyes in agony.
I'm really not in the habit of hitting women, but if you think you can use that to threaten me, then I don't mind starting a new habit. I looked down at my opponents with utter contempt. Brother Yu, we were wrong. We are no match for you.
We surrender.
So what if you're tough?
Yi Chen, you still can't even lay a finger on me.
Seeing that I had stopped, Wan Hao smirked and sneered. Let me tell you, you can only act tough inside this octagon. What use is your fighting technique? Anyway, if we were outside and I unleashed my spiritual energy, I beat the absolute crap out of you. Hearing this,
I wasn't about to go easy on Wan Hao.
lunging forward in a flash, I landed a direct punch right to his face, leaving his head spinning.
Then, I delivered a rapid succession of heavy blows straight to his stomach.
With a sudden burst of gas escaping from his backside, an unidentified yellow liquid began seeping through his pants. Next time you talk big, make sure you've emptied your bowels first.
I pinched my nose and walked away, shaking my head.
My ruthless retaliation terrified the other guys so much they collapsed to the ground.
Ji Chen, he already surrendered.
Why did you keep attacking him?
Although my actions were incredibly satisfying, as an academy instructor,
Should had to put a stop to this kind of behavior.
wait, wasn't it only these junior students who surrendered just now? Did this guy surrender too?
I didn't hear anything.
All I heard was him saying he was going to beat the crap out of me. I shrugged my shoulders and looked innocently at the terrified boys. Did any of you hear him surrender?
No, not at all.
They shook their heads frantically, claiming they hadn't heard a thing.
With their testimony,
I technically hadn't broken any academy rules. All right then. But don't let it happen again.
The female instructor was already on my side.
Since other students had testified, she was about to step in, but I held her back. Go get him, hot-blooded sis. Your senior is watching you the whole time, knowing that Surushu hadn't used her real strength yet. I planned to wake up the little devil personality inside her by cheering her on. Senior Yu Chen is watching me fight. Kill the traitor.
a creepy smile, one that shouldn't have been there, appeared on Surushu's lips.
Teacher, you'd better focus.
Don't get distracted now.
Seeing that Suroshi's personality had switched, I immediately warned the offstage instructor to watch out, so she doesn't know her own strength when she goes wild.
At that moment, the female instructor instantly sensed a chilling wave of killing intent. Unlike my ruthless approach,
What radiated from Surusha was the raw scent of slaughter. It was savage, relentless, and sheer madness. Suroshi seemed like an entirely different person.
she blocked her opponent's punch with her forearm, then spun and drove a vicious elbow strike right into the girl's temple. The other girl's face was still twisted in pain from hitting hard, completely unaware that Surusha's lethal strike was already coming for her life. The Yolacroning bone at the tip of the human elbow is a brutally lethal weapon. I had designed completely different training programs for Sukinyu and Suroshi, based on their unique personalities.
Shukinyu trained in Wing Chun, which focuses on defense.
While Surushu mastered Muay Thai, a style of extreme brutal aggression. Seeing this play out, the instructor outside the ring immediately slammed her hand onto the red crystal orb next to her. Clang! The gravity inside the entire octagon suddenly multiplied several times over.
Surusha's attack was instantly neutralized.
Although her elbow still grazed the girl's forehead, the crushing weight of the gravity left absolutely no force behind the blow. This red gravity button was specifically designed to prevent lethal accidents.
Even when I was beating Wan Hao to a pulp, the instructor hadn't pushed it.
But as a mentor, if she had been even a fraction of a second slower to pause the match, there would be a cold corpse lying inside the octagon right now. Everyone, start! The combat exercise is over. By now, the gravity inside the octagon had returned to normal. The emergency pause only lasted for a brief moment.
To prevent Surusha from making an irreversible mistake,
The instructor quickly stepped in to end this terrifying drill. The instructor let out a shaky breath, still trembling with fear. Only now did she realize just how crucial my earlier warning had been. The truly dangerous person in this exercise wasn't Ti Chen, but the one who seemed the weakest, the most helpless of all, Surusha. Instructor, why did you stop the fight? We clearly had them absolute upper hand. You can't play favorites like this. With the exercise forcefully shut down, those 3 girls were furious. In their eyes,
Surusha was the weak link between Ye Chen and Su Qingyu.
and they were just a second away from teaching her a harsh lesson. Starting today, no one is allowed to engage in combat drills with Yi Chen or Su Wuxia. The instructor completely ignored the girl's protests. Instead, he was simply stating a hard truth. This is for your own good. With that, the instructor wrapped up the combat class, leaving everyone to practice on their own. ##, terror in the ruins, malfunction of the replica mirror. He then had the class monitor notify the infirmary to take the unconscious students away for treatment. After that minor interlude, my life at the academy returned to peace once more.
Senior Yu Chen.
This game is so boring. When are we going to explore another ruin? Just wait a bit longer. I'm actually quite frustrated about this myself, even though I've been asking around for clues about the bronze ruins these past few days. There hasn't been any news at all. Brother Ye,
Can you teach me that movement technique you just used?
Just as I was worrying, my male classmate walked up to me.
Why should I teach you?
I asked indifferently.
The look in his eyes was sincere, not like he was looking for trouble.
And this guy, I felt like I'd seen him somewhere before.
If you teach me your movement technique,
How about I take you to explore a ruin?
the guy grinned, then pointed at his own face and said, Brother Chen,
Do you really not remember me?
I just got into the Shanghai Spirit Weapon Academy.
I never expected to be in the same class as my idol.
I'm so incredibly lucky.
I frowned,
Racking my brain for a moment, but I still couldn't remember who he was.
After all, I'd heard these kinds of polite flatteries countless times.
I'm Fa Fei's younger brother, Ma Zhen. Seeing that I still had no recollection, he had no choice but to clarify. Suddenly, it clicked. I finally remembered Ma Fei.
He was an old friend of mine from the gold class, though he had already graduated at 23, half a year ago.
My Jen, you've grown so much, kid.
I patted Ma Zhen on the shoulder, unable to help but sigh at how fast time flies.
The little kid from back then is in the same class as me now.
What did you mean just now about taking me to explore a ruin?
Brother Chen, that's why I say we're destined to cross paths.
Mai Jing said, his face buzzing with excitement.
You know how my brother joined the Demon Hunter Association after graduation, right? Well, he ended up becoming a regional captain.
And just recently, someone reported a bronze ruin as territory.
Since I just awakened my talent,
My brother, looking out for me.
Secrecy intercepted the report. This bronze ruin is in the northern suburbs of the Magic City.
Nobody knows exactly how long it's been there.
but my brother spent a fortune to hire a level 9 bronze exploration team.
Specifically to protect me and guide me through.
Anyway, guiding one person is no different from guiding two. Since they're already taking me, they might as well take you too.
Brother Chen, let's go together. Hearing Ma Jing's explanation,
I found myself in a bit of a tight spot.
intercepting information about a ruin was a major taboo in the Demon Hunter Association. If word got out,
At best, Ma Fei would lose his position as regional captain.
at worst, he could even be expelled from the association.
On top of that, Ma Fei had spent a fortune hiring that exploration team specifically for his brother. For me to tag along and take a piece of the pie just didn't feel right.
Have you discussed this with your brother beforehand?
Of course I did.
My brother said he felt terrible that he couldn't help with your situation regarding Lin Yuan.
He's been feeling guilty about it this whole time.
But now that you've got a new contract beast and are starting fresh, he's absolutely thrilled.
He told me to let him know if there's anything he can do to help.
Mai Jing said with a smile. Seeing how thoughtful Ma Fei was being,
I couldn't bring myself to refuse and accepted his offer. After all, I desperately needed to absorb lifespan from monsters right now.
once I raised my own cultivation level and boosted my talent and maxed out my synergy with my contract beast.
With my strength, exploring unknown bronze ruins on my own in the future would be a piece of cake.
Awesome. We finally get to explore a ruin.
Suoksho began dancing around in pure excitement, but before she could say another word, her sister, Su Qingyu, quickly covered her mouth. My spiritual power reaching level 5 bronze and the sisters awakening their talents had to remain a secret for now.
I quickly changed the subject. To return the favor,
I did my absolute best to teach Ma Zheng several techniques he'd never learned from a regular instructor.
Brother Chen, what you just showed me is way better than anything my instructor ever taught.
Ma Jing's jaw dropped in disbelief.
He was now absolutely convinced that as long as he stayed by my side, he would definitely become a powerful demon hunter.
To make sure Yi Chen's teachings didn't go to waste,
My Jane even called over his own contract partner to study together.
She was a very shy, introverted girl.
Li Zan.
Her personality was very similar to Majin's. Her face still carried the innocence of someone who had just stepped into the world of demon hunters, and she was full of curiosity about everything unknown.
This movement technique is absolutely brilliant.
if we had met Brother Chen earlier,
We would have been close combat experts long ago. Just like Man Li Jian.
Was completely captivated by the techniques I taught them.
As the saying goes, birds of a feather flock together.
No wonder Ma Zhen and Li Xian were able to successfully form a contract. After class, Ma Zhen and the others accompanied me to a tavern on the outskirts of the Magic City.
you guys are finally here. We've been waiting forever. Rising to greet them was a heavily bearded giant of a man.
Who was also the leader of the exploration squad, Luo Ji.
The entire exploration squad of 10 people was already fully armed and had been waiting here for quite some time. Their spiritual energy levels were all around bronze rank 9.
And their leader, Luo Ji, had even reached the peak of the bronze rank.
Just one step away from the silver rank.
With a complete team lineup, they were a mercenary team, specializing in boosting levels for others.
Sorry for taking up everyone's time. I scratched my head a bit sheepishly and then casually threw my arm around Luo Ji's shoulder.
Brother Luo, meeting like this is fate. Since it's already this late, why don't we have a few drinks first? This round is on me. Ma Zhen also thought this was a great idea.
Yeah, let's have our victory feast in advance.
Lu Ji was stunned for a moment.
But then he burst into hearty laughter.
All right,
I couldn't ask for more.
Normally, drinking before exploring ruins is a major taboo.
But I had my own selfish reasons for inviting Loi Ji and his team to drink. By the time the party ended, it would be night. And at night, Su Ruxia's night Kai attributes would double.
After all, the ruins contained a randomized alternate world, and no one knew what the situation inside would be like.
Naturally, I couldn't rely entirely on Luo Ji and his crew.
However, despite everyone being slightly tipsy, the moment they laid eyes on the ruins portal, Every member of the squad instantly snapped into combat mode. A little alcohol was nowhere near enough to affect their fighting ability. For these battle-hardened pros, having a drink before entering the ruins might actually help them perform even better. The portal isn't that well hidden. It's right inside a farmer's wine cellar. This cellar hasn't been touched in over 10 years.
We just stumbled upon it. By accident,
Said the farmer who was guiding us. People don't usually go down into wine cellars, so he couldn't be sure when the ruins actually formed. But he's certain they haven't been here for more than 20 years. Let's go in and take a look.
Lu Shouji's eyes narrowed, looking dead serious.
He took the lead, radiating the sharp aura of a battle-hardened veteran. The moment we stepped into the ruins, the illustration team instantly fell into formation, combat ready.
Meanwhile,
They surrounded us in the center,
letting us relax and enjoy being the pampered VIP clients who footed the bill.
What met our eyes was an endless sea of sand dunes.
Under the moonlight, a silver glow
Veiled the landscape like a sheer green mist, shivering with subtle ripples. You know what? Our little drinking session actually couldn't have happened at a better time. No one expected the world inside this rift to be a harsh desert. Even if they had entered this alternate world in the afternoon, we wouldn't have escaped being scorched alive by the blazing sun. My seemingly impulsive decision to stop for drinks had, by pure luck, saved the entire team from that nightmare.
四叶雨晨
The desert looks so beautiful at night.
Sarusha looked up at the crystal-clear night sky.
Beautiful, yes. But the dangers hiding beneath the sand are even more lethal. I warned everyone, telling them not to celebrate too early. These vast dunes could spawn demon beasts at any second. Besides, the desert is incredibly hostile. Sure, it's a lot better at night, and the climate isn't as brutal. But the demon beasts that adapt to these sands are usually extremely resilient. Relax, bud. Don't be so tense.
Have some faith in us.
We're professionals after all.
Lu Xiao patted my shoulder.
Signaling me to ease up. A moment later, everyone on the exploration team entered their merged state. It's actually an armored spirit armament. What a shame. What a total waste.
Nuso eyed, looking at my dull fire poker and tattered cloak with sheer pity.
Maybe fate just loves playing tricks on us. I just gave a bitter, indifferent smile. Our group crept forward, stepping as quietly as we could. Before long, we spotted a flickering campfire nestled at the base of a sand dune. From a distance, they looked like a bunch of giant, chopped-up fish heads roasting something over the flames. But these things had long, spindly limbs, and their entire bodies were literally just giant fish heads.
fishmen. In the middle of a desert? How is that even possible?
Lugoi, our veteran captain, immediately recognized them. Fortunately, there weren't many of these monsters. There were only a dozen or so of them. Desert fishmen. Rarity, common. Realm, bronze, tier 5. Description, a race of fishmen living in the desert, capable of breathing freely inside the sand. And they can even swim through the sand dunes, as if they were the ocean. They excel at sneak attacks. An assassin-type monster with a lifespan of 500 years. Our very first wave of monsters is already at bronze tier 5. It's clear that this ruin's difficulty is no joke. Meanwhile, Zhu Guang, who was in charge of long-range attacks, had already drawn his bowstring. His spiritual weapon is called the Yingyu bow. After firing an arrow, it automatically splits into 2 additional arrows. Though they only deal 30% of the main arrow's damage, they automatically lock onto the enemies. 3 arrows rained down right where the little fishmen were, but those creatures were incredibly alert. The moment the arrows rained down, they dived straight into the sand and vanished. Defensive stance. Our captain, Luigi's spiritual weapon is a massive iron shield. Once he went into a defensive stance, a honeycomb-shaped energy barrier instantly materialized. It enveloped him, along with Ma Jian and me standing right behind him.
Relax with me here. These monsters won't scratch a single hair on your heads. Lo Ji is, after all, a peak bronze tier demon hunter.
The spiritual power of the massive iron shield in his hands has also reached the peak bronze tier. His defensive barrier is specifically designed to protect the employer. At the same time, the 4 demon hunters outside had already prepared to intercept them. There were Shou Guang, the archer, Lu Xing, the healer,
绝无的识别呢？
and New Dali, the dual blade wielder. Just then, the little fishmen that had just dove into the dunes suddenly burst out of the sand right beneath our feet, their fishbone daggers thrust straight toward the demon hunters' chests.
But Luo Ji's exploration team was already well prepared.
The moment the little fishmen popped their heads out, they took massive damage. New Dali, the dual blade wielder, tried to slice off the monster's limbs, hoping to set up an easy kill for the boss. Unfortunately, even without their 4 limbs, the moment those fishmen touched the dunes, they could still slip back into the sands. After a few quick exchanges, even though the scouting squad members were all bronze rank 9 demon hunters, they couldn't capture a single demon. Instead, they were ambushed by those little Markles and ended up getting hurt over and over again. It was clear these guys weren't going to be easy targets to spoon feed to the boss.
Just kill them! Seeing that this wasn't working, Luo Ji knew he had to make a move. Having no other choice, he ordered his team to just wipe the Murlocs out.
Spoon feeding is slag in the Mensory world. It means the mercenaries beat a monster within an inch of its life, then hand it over to the boss to land the final blow and extract the demon essence. After all, under the rules of the ruins, demon essence can't be taken out of the ruins, nor can it be traded to anyone else.
It can only be extracted by the one who lands the killing blow.
With the order given, the team stopped holding back. Over a dozen Murkos were wiped out in no time. I'm so sorry, boss. These monsters are just Too slippery. We only managed to bring back one alive. Which one of you wants the kill? Go ahead. I backed off without hesitation. After all, Ma Zheng was the one paying the mercenaries, while I was just tagging along for a free ride.
Then don't mind if I do, Ma Zheng barked, slamming his fist right onto the mermal's head. His spiritual weapon was a pair of heavy gauntlets.
Although Jiawu's spear had already pierced the Murloc's chest, leaving it battered and unable to move. Even then,
Ma Zheng, who only had bronze rank 2 spiritual power, still had to throw 4 heavy punches before the Merlot finally died.
but Ma Zheng's luck turned out to be insanely good. Even though he only killed one monster, he successfully extracted 5 demon essences. After a quick break, the group set off again. As the scouting squad pushed deeper, they ran into 3 more waves of desert Murlocs. Each wave was larger than the last.
But the squad wiped almost all of them out, leaving Ma Zheng and me with only 5 more mock kills each.
This time, Ma Zheng's luck ran out. Out of those 5 marks, he didn't get a single damn thing. But for me, it was a completely different story.
First of all, those 5 Murlocs scored me a whopping 25 years of lifespan.
And even though I didn't get any demon essence, I ended up with an F-rank skill book called Wall Phase, which lets me enter a spiritual state for 3 seconds.
During that time, I can completely ignore physical collisions with regular objects.
It has a 20-second cooldown. Maybe Lady Luck was finally smiling on us, because the squad's nightmare finally came to an end.
Deep inside a desolate, ruined palace, they encountered a brand new type of monster.
Thank God. It's finally not those damn Murlocs.
Lizard couldn't help but curse out loud.
Under the pale moonlight, a horde of bandaged, mummified corpses is wandering through the abandoned palace ruins.
Right in the center of the palace sits a golden coffin.
Eerily floating in midair. This must be the final stage of the ruins. With one look, I can tell the monster sleeping inside that coffin is likely the final boss.
Mummy. Reberty. F grade. Spiritual realm. Bronze rank. Description. A demon beast that moves incredibly slow but has insanely high defense.
The bandages wrapped around them are extremely tough. Once you're caught, it's almost impossible to break free.
But there's a catch. While they're wrapping up an opponent,
The bandages protecting their own bodies loosen, dropping their defense.
and heavily reducing their health.
remaining lifespan. 2,000 years.
Listen up, guys.
Keep your distance from that coffin. We need to clear out these minions first.
Based on his experience, getting too close to that coffin will likely wake up the sleeping boss.
Right now, our #1 priority is to wipe out these mummies.
Sure, these mummies are tough as nails.
With health and defense that far exceed other monsters at the same rank.
But they move as stiffly as wooden posts.
We just have to make sure we don't get tangled up in their bandages.
Working together with Luoqi and his team, we soon had a pile of near-dead mummies dumped right in front of Zhang Zheng and me.
The bandages on their bodies were completely stripped off. And some even had their limbs hacked off.
Leaving them completely immobilized.
Go ahead, Brother Chen. They're all yours,
Ma Zheng said, politely stepping back.
I didn't hesitate.
After all, staring at these mummies with a remaining lifespan of 2,000 years, my eyes were practically glowing with greed.
Watching my lifespan shoot up,
I couldn't wipe the massive grin off my face if I tried. There were over 100 mummies wandering around the abandoned palace ruins.
Lu Zhou's team fought tirelessly through most of the night.
But they only managed to take down around 80 of them. I can't go on. I really can't. We need to pull back. They had completely run out of ammo and supplies, left with no other choice.
Lu Zhou had to call for a retreat.
The group found shelter behind a nearby sand dune.
Deciding to take a quick breather.
Fortunately, those mummy monsters were not only incredibly slow,
But they were also incredibly dumb. They didn't even try to pursue them. It's already past 4 in the morning.
Brother Luo, I suggest you guys just kill that mummy behind you.
I looked toward the desert horizon.
Saying with a grim expression.
Everyone's supplies and ammo are completely gone.
If we keep moving this slowly,
We'll likely drag this out until daylight.
once the sun comes up,
Things are going to get really messy.
you've got a point, little brother.
Brother Luo also highly agreed with my plan. After all, trying to wrap things up after the sun rose would make the difficulty skyrocket.
Once the temperature climbs in the desert, it becomes absolutely deadly.
Deadly.
While the exploration team was recovering, I was using life deduction to strengthen myself. Although our exploration of the ruins had been incredibly smooth,
The smoother things are, the more alert you need to stay.
This 1,000 years of lifespan was crucial.
and I had to make the absolute most of it. Infusing 300 years of lifespan into the level 1 Berserk talent. Hard work pays off. Thanks to your relentless efforts, your talent has finally awakened. Blood Awakening, Earth Tier. Physical Life Steal, 7.5%. Attack Speed 40%. Movement Speed 40%. New effect. Attacks now inflict a bleeding status on enemies lasting 10 seconds.
Dealing 5% damage per stack, stacking up to 10 layers. Remaining host lifespan, 727 years. Just awakening from a level 1 talent to Earth Tier took a whole 300 years.
The next stage will definitely require even more.
And 700 years might not even be enough.
So I gave up on upgrading my talent any further, choosing to allocate my lifespan to weapons and skills that are easier to upgrade. Lifespan reduced by 182 years. Swift Walk has been upgraded.
Lifespan reduced by 54 years.
Bloodhand has been upgraded to C tier. Lifespan reduced by 80 years. Charged Strike has been upgraded to C tier. Life Fans reduced by 101 years. Wall Phasing has been upgraded to C tier.
Host remaining lifespan 310 years.
After consuming 417 years of lifespan, I upgraded all of my learned skills to C tier.
Although my overall strength took a massive leap forward, I was disappointed that none of my other skills soared all the way to S tier like Greed did.
As for the magic crystals we gathered,
I divided the 200 crystals equally between Su Qingyu and Su Ruzhou.
congratulations, host.
Your summon, Su Qingyu,
And Su Rusha have broken through to bronze rank 3.
Although the Earth tier Knight Armor is much stronger in terms of stats than the S tier Silver Spear,
I didn't play favorites with my resources.
Without pulling any more monsters, Luigi and his team rested for half an hour. After that, they quickly cleared out the remaining mummies. Now, in the entire dungeon, the only thing left was that coffin floating in midair.
呀，小赵打理。
You two go over first and check things out. Logi had the two of them take the lead as they cautiously approached the floating coffin. Meanwhile, the archer, Zhe Guang, and the healer, Liu Xing, provided support from the rear.
As Jia Wu and Nu Dali drew closer step by step,
The coffin floating in midair suddenly burst open.
how is this possible? There's absolutely nothing inside.
But to everyone's absolute shock, not only was the slumbering vengeful demon lord nowhere to be found in the coffin, but it was completely, utterly empty. There was nothing at all.
Right after that, a spatial vortex symbolizing their successful clear appeared.
And golden reward chests dropped right at their feet.
We cleared it? Just like that?
Though it was hard to believe, the reward chests in the exit portal were right there. The dungeon was definitely cleared, but I felt like something was fishy, always keeping my guard up.
I pulled a steamed bun out of my
Storage ring, throwing it straight at the nearby portal. When the bun hit the vortex, it wasn't sucked in at all.
Instead, it bounced right off. Clearly, this portal is a fake. The real dungeon boss must be hiding nearby, and it hasn't been defeated yet. And here I thought some terrifying boss would come out of that coffin.
I can't believe we cleared it just like that, without even knowing what happened.
We missed out on another boss drop. What a shame. As they spoke, Luigi and his team prepared to open the chests.
Wait, something's not right here.
I think we should be careful.
Watch out for traps.
Unfortunately, my warning came a fraction of a second too late. Before the words could even leave my mouth, others had already popped open the chests in front of them. Empty.
What the hell?
Why are the reward chests in this dungeon empty too?
It's bad enough there was no boss.
And now no loot. But don't you worry, the boss you've been looking for is about to show up. I shrugged helplessly. At this point, only the 3 clearance treasure chests in front of me remained unopened. Although I didn't know exactly what was happening yet,
By now, I realized that except for me, the entire expedition teams had already fallen right into the demon lord's trap.
Luju looked completely clueless, having absolutely no idea that danger was looming right over them.
Just as everyone was still trying to figure it out,
That fate portal began to move. Hairline cracks started webbing across the air around it, making a sharp, shattering sound like heavy rocks smashing through glass. Then, a creepy, distorted voice echoed out. You want to defeat us? Why don't you try defeating yourselves first? From every single crack, splintering around the portal,
clones stepped out, looking identical to each member of the expedition team.
even their spiritual beasts were replicated, one by one.
Right then, I finally saw the fake portal for what it truly was.
The replicating mirror. Rarity, spiritual power realm, silver rank 5. Description. A mirror that possesses the terrifying ability to clone anything. The moment you open its chest, your genetic sequence is instantly copied.
Remaining lifespan, 15,000 years.
Since I hadn't opened my chest,
There was no clone of me among them.
talk about an unavoidable trap.
Get it together. Prepare for battle.
Musho back out orders, immediately mobilizing the expedition team. First, Luigi had the archer, Zhou Guang, suppress the cloned Luigi. Once Zhou Guang's arrow rain skill shot out, the cloned Luigi instantly went into a defensive stance, blocking the ranged attacks for the other clones.
Meanwhile, the real Luwachi unleashed his taunt skill, forcing the cloned dual-blade warrior and cloned spearman to attack him instead.
Having successfully drawn the aggro of the entire enemy front line, Nudadi and Zhao Wu instantly dove into the fray, flanking the backline to take out the cloned archer and cloned healer. Stripped of their ranged damage and healing, the remaining clones were at the end of their rope and were easily wiped out. As for the cloned Majin, he had already been taken out by some stray attacks from the expedition team without anyone even noticing.
With all the clones dealt with,
The team began to unleash a frenzy of attacks on the boss. You think you can defeat me? Try defeating yourselves first. They had barely chipped away 1/3 of the boss's health when the replicating mirror fractured once more. From the spatial cracks, a brand new set of clones was summoned once again. Does this boss ever freaking quit? Captain, what do we do now? What else can we do?
we just have to stick to the plan and do it all over again.
Left with no choice, Logi and his team had to give up on killing the boss, for now, and focus their attacks on the clones again. Even though these clones were mindless, compared to the first round of the hunt, the exploration team was moving much slower. Now, after all, their stamina and spirit energy were severely depleted. Under the circumstances, this was only natural. By the time they wiped out all the clones, everyone was completely exhausted, since they had already burned through all their recovery supplies earlier. There was no way for the team to recover. Keep attacking, hurry! Or this damn boss is going to summon more clones. With the team pushing past their limits, the replica's health bars was finally down to the last 1/3. But to their absolute despair, those damn clones appeared once more. You think you can defeat me? Defeat yourselves first. Are you kidding me? Not again. Seeing the clones reappear, Luoji's exploration team fell into sheer panic. By now, their spirit energy was completely depleted, and they couldn't even activate their weapons anymore. In a situation like this, Lu Xing, the healer, could no longer provide any support to the team. He had even severed his fusion state with his spirit weapon. Both of them pulled out physical swords from their spatial rings, trying to assist from the back. Fully healed and at peak spirit energy, the clones forced the exploration team into a desperate retreat.
Could even put up a fight.
But fortunately, Luoji's team was incredibly resilient, as they desperately fought to create distance between themselves and the clones. Even though they had only recovered a tiny speck of spirit energy, Luoji still seized this rare opportunity. With the help of Nudali and Zhao Wu, they managed to kill the clone healer once again. But to take out the clone's backline, the exploration team paid a devastating price. Not only was everyone on the team severely wounded, but Yu Xing's wife, who was in human form, was shot right through the chest by a clone archer's arrow. She was on the absolute brink of death. Damn it! My spirit energy is completely gone. Looking at his fading wife, whose life signs were getting weaker by the second, Lu Xing, despite being a healer, was completely powerless. He going watched helplessly as she slipped away from him. As a medic, yet unable to save his most beloved. Devastated, Yu Xing threw down the warming arrow in his hand. In one swift motion, he pulled a long saber from his space ring. Bellowing in rage, he charged at the clones. In that instant, the anger of the entire expedition team was ignited. They threw themselves into a reckless, life-or-death battle. Wu Zhou evil others defeated all the clones, but it cost them nearly half their lives. But tragically, the medic, Liu Xing, who had charged at the very front, had lost his spiritual armament, forced to fight the demon beasts in close quarters with a basic weapon. The exact moment all the clones were slain, he too collapsed lifelessly into a pool of blood. Soak of fire, now! We must seize this chance to obliterate the boss once and for all.
Otherwise,
Every single one of us will die here. Having no time to mourn their fallen comrade, Lu Zhou immediately ordered everyone to unleash everything they had on the vulnerable boss.
let's go, Ma Sen. We're joining the fight too.
Fear in the depleted expedition team wouldn't have enough damage left. I grabbed Ma Jin and charged full with them, charging up my strike.
I timed it perfectly.
My fully charged silver spear pierced right through the mirror face of the boss.
With everyone working together,
I secured the final blow on the boss. As the boss's life faded away, the shattered mirror shards emitted a dazzling glow, transforming into a massive pile of magic crystal stones. There were over 100 of them. On top of that, there was a martial skill book wrapped in a golden beam of light, along with various crafting materials. For a boss like the replicating mirror, which had both raw power and complex mechanics, the rewards dropped upon defeat would always be incredibly rich. Yet, staring at the treasures scattered across the ground, not a single smile could be found on the faces of the expedition team.
Take these, Logosi said expressionlessly, picking up the magic crystal stones from the ground.
He placed them all in front of Ma. No, I absolutely cannot accept these 100 magic crystals. Just think of it as a settlement fund for Big Brother Liu Xing's family.
Bishop Prus, slightly taken aback,
He looks at Ma Jian.
then glances back. As his teammates, who are still drowning in grief, behind of Meteor's family, we thank you.
Lugo,
Yeah,
along with all the members of the exploration team.
Bows deeply to Matt.
His eyes overflowing with gratitude. With Bofik completely defeated by the exploration team, the real ruins portal finally materializes before everyone's eyes. Appearing right alongside it are the golden clearance chests. The difficulty of this ruin was no joke, so there is bound to be a massive amount of magic gold inside. One by one, everyone begins to deactivate their fusion states
and opens the clearance chests waiting in front of them.
Since the chests are distributed based on the number of challengers, there are a total of 3 sitting right at my feet. Out of everyone there, I am the only one who hasn't undone the fusion with my soul weapon, nor have I touched any of my clearance chests. What's wrong, little brother? First time seeing something like this? Are you scared? Seeing me standing frozen in place, Luoji slowly walks up to comfort me. Walking right behind him is his soul weapon, Su Li. I nod, slowly, looking as if I am deep in thought.